Let me tell you something remarkable, something that changed my life, and might just change yours. You don't need much to start. In fact, you can start with almost nothing. Now that surprises people. They say, Jim, how can I build a future when I barely have a present? How do I rise when I'm starting from the bottom? And I always answer with the same quiet truth. Greatness doesn't begin with abundance. It begins with resourcefulness. Success doesn't ask, how much do you have? Success asks, what can you do with what you have? Some people wait for perfect conditions, perfect timing, perfect opportunities. And while they wait, their dreams grow older. Others start with $1, a notebook, an idea, a seed, a tiny spark of belief. And they begin slowly, patiently, consistently. And one day, that nothing becomes something. A business, a relationship, a skill, a transformed life. See, you don't need more money. You need more vision. You don't need the perfect chance. You need the courage to take the first step. You don't need a miracle. You need discipline, the quiet miracle you create yourself. So today, I want to show you exactly how ordinary people with ordinary tools, living ordinary lives, create extraordinary futures. They start with what they've got. They do what they can, and they never stop growing. That, my friends, is how you turn nothing into something. Let's get started. Let me share something with you. Something most people never truly understand. Starting with nothing is not a disadvantage. It's an opportunity, a rare one, because when you start with nothing, you learn the things that people with something never learn. You learn creativity. You learn hunger. You learn discipline. You learn how to make a way when there seems to be no way. Now, people often say, Jim, I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. I don't have the support. And I always smile gently and say, that's where I started too. See, the beginning is not measured by what you have in your pocket. It's measured by what you have in your mind. And the mind, your mind, is the greatest starting point on earth. When you have nothing, the first thing you must use is your imagination. Imagination builds bridges where no bridges exist. It creates options where life has closed the door. It paints a picture so clear, your future becomes something you can almost touch. Before I had money, I had vision. Before I had opportunity, I had a plan. Before I had results, I had belief. Belief is free, and it might just be the most valuable thing you own. Let me tell you something important. Everyone, rich or poor, gets 24 hours. That's the one area where life is perfectly fair. So the moment you say, I have nothing, I remind you, you have time. The question is, what will you do with it? Most people waste their time waiting for the right conditions. Successful people use their time creating the right conditions. You don't need a fancy office. You don't need a badge, a title, a degree. You need an hour of focused time, then another hour, and another. That's how greatness starts. Quietly, privately, in the hours nobody sees. Let me tell you something else. When I had nothing, I had a library card. I read. I studied. I learned. Learning is the great equalizer. You can learn your way out of any situation. You can learn your way into any opportunity. Knowledge turns nothing into something, then into more, then into everything. The day you become a student, a real student, is the day your life begins to change. Now, this is big. Decisions are powerful. Decisions shape destiny. And here's the truth. You don't need resources to decide. You don't need support to decide. You don't need approval to decide. Decision is free, but it's priceless. Success begins the moment you say, I'm responsible. No more excuses. No more waiting. I begin today. A decision like that can turn a poor man rich, a tired man strong, a discouraged man unstoppable. Most people want to leap, but life rewards steps. Small steps. You start where you are, with what you have, doing what you can. And if you do that today, and again tomorrow, and again the next day, suddenly you've built momentum. And momentum turns small beginnings into big victories. Don't underestimate the power of small. A small seed grows a forest. A small idea builds a business. A small decision changes a life. A small start creates a future. So, my friend, if you're starting with nothing, smile. Because you're standing in the same place where every great story began. The place where you learn your strength. The place where you build your character. The place where you discover what you're truly capable of. Starting with nothing means you get to build the life you want, not the one handed to you. You get to write the script. You get to turn the page. You get to begin again. And beginnings are powerful. This is where the journey starts. Right here, right now, with a single thought, I can turn nothing into something. And trust me, you can. Now let's go deeper. Let's talk about how small beginnings become big futures. Let me share a truth that separates the successful from the struggling, the builders from the dreamers, the achievers from the excuse makers. Success is not built on resources. Success is built on resourcefulness. Now, that's a big statement, maybe the biggest, because most people say, I could do more if I had more money, more support, more connections, more tools. But resourcefulness says, use what you have, start where you are, do what you can. And when you do, you'll be shocked by how far it takes you. Let me tell you something important. More does not always make you stronger. Sometimes more makes you weaker. More comfort, more cushion, more safety. Why? Because when you have more, you stop stretching. You stop inventing. You stop pushing the edge of your creativity. It's when your back is against the wall that you find out who you truly are. Not when everything is easy, but when things are scarce. When life says, figure it out, resourcefulness rises. In moments of pressure, see, resourcefulness is the ability to create something from almost nothing. A pencil becomes a business plan. A notebook becomes a dream journal. A borrowed tool becomes a new skill. A tiny idea becomes the foundation of a better life. Resourcefulness asks, what can I build with this? What can I learn from this? What can I start today, even if it's small? And the moment you begin to ask those questions, your mind becomes a factory of solutions, a machine of possibilities. That's how nothing quietly transforms into something. Let me remind you, your real resources are not outside you. They're inside. Your creativity, your discipline, your courage, your ideas, your vision of a better life. Those are the tools that matter. And here's the good news. You already have them. Maybe they're a little rusty. Maybe you haven't used them in a while. Maybe you've doubted them, but they're there, waiting, ready. And once you tap into them, you stop being limited by what's in your pocket and start being empowered by what's in your mind. Now, this may surprise you, but scarcity is a teacher, a powerful one. When you don't have much, you learn to value everything, every opportunity, every lesson, every chance. When you don't have much, you become careful, thoughtful, creative, strategic. When you don't have much, you maximize what you have. And that's what builds discipline. That's what builds character. That's what builds strength. I tell people all the time, it's not the abundance that makes you powerful. It's what you learn during the scarcity. Most people spend their time wishing they had more money, wishing they had better luck, wishing they had a different start in life. But wishing never moved a mountain. Wishing never built a business. Wishing never changed a future. Only working does that. Only action. Only discipline. Only resourcefulness. So, instead of saying, I wish I had more, say, I'll do more with what I have. That's the attitude that transforms a poor man into a rich man, a discouraged man into a confident one, a tired man into a victorious one. Let me give you a simple idea, one that changed my life. Everything you have can be used. Every skill, every experience, every mistake, every challenge. You can turn pain into wisdom. You can turn setbacks into strategies. You can turn weakness into strength. You can turn nothing into something, but only if you're willing to look at your life honestly and say, there is something here I can use, because there always is. With the same words I give to anyone who thinks they're empty-handed. You don't need more to start. You need to start with what you have. If you have an idea, that's enough. If you have a spark of desire, that's enough. If you have 10 minutes a day, that's enough. If you have the courage to begin, that's more than enough. Resourcefulness is not about having more. It's about becoming more. And when you become more, the world eventually matches who you are. That is how something grows. From what once looked like nothing, one of the most reliable, predictable, unstoppable laws in the universe. Little by little becomes a lot. Not overnight, not instantly, not magically, but steadily, quietly, faithfully. Most people fail because they underestimate two things: the power of small steps and the danger of no steps. See, it's not the big leap that changes your life. It's the daily inch, the consistent inch, the intentional inch. You don't grow by doing something huge once. You grow by doing something small, again and again and again. That's the law of incremental growth. And when you understand it, you unlock the secret to turning almost nothing into almost anything. People say, Jim, I want big results. And I say, good. Now let's start small. Because results don't come from intensity. They come from consistency. 1 page a day becomes a book. 1 workout a day becomes a new body. 1 hour of study becomes a new skill. 1 small act of discipline becomes a new destiny. Tiny efforts stacked over time become enormous achievements. That's the miracle of compound progress. It begins invisible and ends undeniable. Let me give you a picture. Imagine you improve just 1% every day. Now, 1% is small, almost nothing, barely noticeable. But over a year, that tiny improvement compounds into a completely transformed life. And here's the beauty. The earlier you begin, the bigger the compounding. Every day you delay is a day you lose. Every day you begin is a day you multiply. Consistency is not just a habit. It's a financial law, a physical law, a spiritual law, a life law. Little by little becomes a lot. You don't need big victories to stay motivated. You need small wins, little achievements that whisper, keep going. Clean your room, organize your desk, finish a task, read a chapter, walk 20 minutes, save $5. Small wins build confidence. Small wins build momentum. Small wins build self-respect. And soon, the small wins start attracting bigger wins. Because success likes to travel in clusters. 1 good habit invites another. 1 achievement inspires the next. Soon your life is filled with progress, all because you took the first little steps. Most people quit because they want fireworks. They want instant. They want dramatic. They want noticeable. But life doesn't reward dramatic. Life rewards consistent. A tiny seed doesn't look like much, but inside it are roots, branches, fruit, and forests. Progress works the same way. It begins quietly. You don't see it at first, but something is happening. Something is growing. Something is taking shape. And if you keep watering it, if you keep planting, keep showing up, one day the results appear. Not slowly, but suddenly. Incremental growth is slow until it's not. And when it blooms, people say, you're an overnight success. But you and I know better. It took days and weeks and months of small, intentional effort. Daily progress isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It's repetitive. It's quiet. It's steady. But it's also powerful. Like the tide shaping the shore. Like wind carving stone. Like drops of water filling oceans. Daily discipline builds a life. No lack of luck can steal. No critic can weaken. No challenge can shake. That's the beauty of slow growth. It builds you as much as it builds your results. If you do a little each day, you can achieve almost anything. But if you do nothing today, your tomorrow looks exactly like yesterday. Don't wait for big motivation. Use small discipline. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Use imperfect action. Don't wait for the whole plan. Start with the first step. A better body begins with a single workout. A better mind begins with a single book. A better future begins with a single decision. Little by little, day by day, habit by habit, you turn nothing into something, and then something into more, and eventually into everything you dreamed of. That is the law of incremental growth. Now, let's slow down and take a deep breath, because this bridge between nothing and something is where most people stop. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack ideas, but because they lack execution. You see, ideas are easy. Dreams are plentiful. Wishes, they're everywhere. But action is rare. And that's why action is powerful. Let me tell you something I've learned. Ideas don't move. People do. Ideas don't change your life until you pick them up, carry them, and work them into existence. You can have an idea worth $1 million. But if you don't act, it's worth nothing. You can have a dream bigger than the mountains. But if you don't move your feet, it stays in the clouds. So let's talk about turning ideas into action. First action begins with clarity. You can't build what you can't see. You can't chase what you haven't defined. Some people say, I want success. But success is too vague. Some say, I want to be happy. But happiness is not a plan. Take the dream in your head and put it on paper. Put it into words. Make it visible. Don't let your dreams stay inside your mind. Turn them into goals. A dream is a general hope. A goal is a direction. A plan is a map. And action is the journey. Start with a picture. Then draw the lines. Then take the steps. Second, break the dream into pieces. Big dreams are intimidating. Massive goals can overwhelm the strongest mind. That's why so many never begin. They see the mountain instead of the first step. But here's the truth. You don't climb a mountain by staring at the peak. You climb it by placing one foot, then the next, then the next. So what do? Break the dream down. Divide it into parts. Then divide the parts again. If your dream is a book, focus on a page. If your dream is a business, focus on the first customer. If your dream is a new life, focus on one new habit. Small pieces, small wins, small steps. You see, when the pieces get smaller, the progress gets bigger. Third action needs discipline. Now, discipline is a tough word. It doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always feel exciting, but it always leads you somewhere worthwhile. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline is the difference between I'll try and I will. Discipline is the difference between someday and today. Every action taken in discipline creates momentum. And momentum, that's when life starts working with you, not against you. Remember this. Discipline transforms intentions into results. Fourth, don't wait for inspiration. Most people wait. They wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for confidence. But waiting is the thief of progress. If you wait to feel ready, you'll wait forever. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll miss every moment. The secret is simple. Start before you're ready. Act while you're unsure. Move while you're afraid. Why? Because action breeds clarity. Action creates confidence. Action fuels courage. You don't get confidence first. You earn it through doing. Fifth, execution requires consistency. Anyone can take action for a day. Anyone can work hard for a week. But greatness is built in consistency, in routine, in small, repeated efforts. Let me tell you, consistency is the mother of mastery. 1 hour a day beats 10 hours once a month. 1 step every morning beats a sprint once a year. 1 habit practiced daily will change your entire direction. Keep showing up, even on the small days, even on the slow days, even on the days when progress feels invisible, because consistency compounds, and compounded effort becomes something extraordinary. 6th, execution means adjusting along the way. No plan survives unchanged. Life shifts. Circumstances turn. Obstacles appear. But action is flexible. You can adjust the plan, but not the goal. You can change the route, but not the destination. Be willing to rethink. Be willing to refine. Be willing to course correct. You can't steer a parked car. You must be in motion. Finally, execution is the bridge from nothing to something. You can have nothing and still build something magnificent. How? By acting, by moving, by doing. Ideas give you direction. Dreams give you energy. But execution gives you results. This is the real secret. You don't need more ideas. You need more action, more courage to start, more discipline to continue, more consistency to finish. Turn the thought into a plan. Turn the plan into a step. Turn the step into a habit. Turn the habit into a lifestyle. And watch how nothing becomes something, how something becomes more, and how more becomes everything you once dreamed. This right here is the power of execution. This is how you take a dream and turn it into reality. Now we come to the final piece, the deepest piece, the part most people never understand because they think success is only about achievement. But success is never just what you get. It's who you become. You see, turning nothing into something is not just a skill. It's a transformation, a slow rebuilding of the inner world, a reshaping of your mindset, a rewiring of your habits, a redefinition of your identity. An identity, that's the ultimate reward. Let's take this slowly. Every effort you've made, every step you've taken, every small improvement has been shaping something inside you, whether you realized it or not. Because you don't just do the work. The work does something to you. You don't just discipline your habits. Your habits start disciplining your life. You don't just change your behaviors. Your behaviors begin changing your beliefs. Effort is not just movement. Effort is identity in motion. This is what most people miss. They look for the reward outside, the money, the recognition, the success, but the greatest reward is internal, the person you're becoming along the way. When you start with nothing, you're forced to learn. You're forced to grow. You're forced to stretch beyond your limits. You may start with empty pockets, but you don't have to end with an empty mind. You may begin with few resources, but you don't have to end with limited imagination. You may walk in with doubt, but you don't have to walk out with the same fear. The journey itself begins shaping you. The process builds the person. The major value of life is not what you get. The major value of life is what you become. What you build is the product. Who you become is the prize. Identity is built on standards, on what you accept and what you refuse to accept. When you start working consistently, your standards rise. When you show up daily, your self-respect increases. When you prove to yourself that you can do hard things, your confidence grows. And suddenly, you're no longer the person who waits, no longer the person who doubts, no longer the person who talks more than acts. You become the person who follows through, the person who builds, the person who decides, the person who executes. This shift, this quiet, internal shift, is the mark of transformation. Because success isn't something you chase. Success is something you attract. By becoming the person who can handle it, every choice reshapes your future. Every habit rewrites your story. Every routine redraws the path ahead. And before you know it, you're not just doing the work. You're becoming the kind of person who naturally does the work. What used to be difficult becomes normal. What used to feel heavy becomes light. What used to scare you becomes your responsibility, your routine, your life. This is identity. This is growth. This is how nothing slowly transforms into something, not just in the world around you, but in the world within you. Before your life changes, your thinking changes. Before you see different outcomes, you see different possibilities. Before you step into a bigger world, you think bigger thoughts. This is the real secret to personal transformation. You change on the inside first. The outside catches up later. You begin expecting more of yourself. You begin believing in your capabilities. You begin trusting the process. You begin respecting the work. And slowly, you stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You start seeing yourself as someone who becomes. Turning nothing into something is really turning you into someone. Let's pause on that. The real miracle of progress is not the business you build, not the skill you master, not the money you earn, not the achievement you reach. The real miracle is the transformation inside you. You become wiser. You become stronger. You become more disciplined, more courageous, more intentional. This is the quiet evolution that happens behind the scenes. The becoming, the effort you put in today, is shaping the person you will be tomorrow. The discipline you practice is forming the identity you will carry. The consistency you develop is laying the foundation for the life you desire. This is the true art of becoming. When you start with nothing and create something, you walk away with more than success. You walk away with a new identity, a builder, a creator, a finisher, a person who rises, a person who begins again, a person who lives with purpose. This is why the journey matters. This is why the struggle matters. This is why the effort matters. Because it's not just building a dream, it's building you. So remember this final truth. The greatest achievement is not what you get. It's who you become in the process. That is the art of becoming. Well, my friend, we've come a long way together. From nothing to something. From confusion to clarity. From wishing to working. And now you understand one of the greatest lessons life has to offer. You don't need a perfect start. You just need a start. You don't need every resource. You need resourcefulness. You don't need massive action. You need consistent action. And you don't need to become successful overnight. You simply need to grow, day by day, choice by choice, step by step. Remember, every seed looks like nothing until it becomes something. Every idea looks small until it becomes powerful. Every person feels uncertain until they become confident. But life rewards the starter, the person who tries, the person who begins, the person who keeps moving even when the road is unclear, the person who turns tiny efforts into lasting transformation. You now know the truth. The greatest miracle is not the achievement. The greatest miracle is the person you become along the way. So go out there, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and build the future you know you're capable of creating. Because if you stay disciplined, if you stay hungry, if you stay consistent, you won't just turn nothing into something. You'll turn yourself into someone remarkable. And that is the real victory. Go become, go build, go make your life something extraordinary.